So I retired at 21. I was an early employee at a billion-dollar company, worked 2 to 4 full-time jobs at once, and made smart investments early on. In this video, I'll show you 7 lessons that can help you do the same. Getting started, you need to find something that you're good at as soon as possible. To do this, you need to understand 2 things. First, what do people pay for? And second, what are you good at? Imagine a Venn diagram showing this. You need to find a skill that ticks both boxes. You should try things for a few months at a time. Once you found a skill that people want you for, double down and become even better at it. I realized that I was pretty good at talking to people and enjoy numbers, basically the business side of things. Secondly, you've got to learn how to network and add value to other people properly. Without a good network or the ability to reach people, it's very difficult to get a job, let alone many. Every opportunity I ever had came from meeting new people. I never applied for a job in the traditional way that most people do. How I got jobs was by adding value to people building cool businesses. I simply proved what I can do without charging for it and gave them an incentive to work together. If I have an idea for a company, I'll send it to them, not just a bullet point, but a detailed idea of how to do it from start to finish. But how do you get in front of a decision maker? LinkedIn is a pretty useful tool. I look for companies and find who works there, send a connection request with a personalized note, and wait. Once they accept, it's time to add value. What about if you're technically or design-minded? Young developers should build projects in public and actively engage with influential people on social media. Designers should send their designs to people at companies they want to work for. I saw this one guy, Joe, recreate 3D logo animations of popular companies and post them on his Instagram. He has about 60,000 followers from doing this, and lots of legit businesses want to work with him. To get one of my first few jobs, I posted a voice note on Twitter talking about how cool the company I wanted to work for was. By now you've probably heard the news that Deliveroo, the UK, they eventually saw it, and when I had a chance, I asked to meet with them, and that led to me getting a job. The third step is to work like crazy for a long time, but not forever. What you want to achieve is both a strong level of savings, money you can use in the next stage of your life, but also a strong network of professional relationships if you were to build a business or rise up the ranks into higher paid jobs. When getting started, your biggest advantage is your energy. From the age of 16 to 21, I worked between 2 to 4 full-time jobs at the same time. This helped me make a lot of money while my costs were very low. I was a college student living in cheap school housing, so I was saving money like crazy and building a war chest of funds, which I used to purchase assets and make other investments that enabled me to retire at 21 years old. But working as much as I did isn't sustainable in the long run. If you do this for long enough, eventually you can scale things down to just one job or start your own business and earn a whole lot more than working multiple jobs. I did it for about 5 years. It was seriously rewarding, but at a cost. I said no to meeting with friends, relationships, and sacrificed my own downtime a whole lot. But this sacrifice gave me the freedom to pursue whatever I want, career-wise, for the rest of my life. At the moment of recording, I still work a job now, only one though. A totally different industry to where I started, but I'm happier doing this than what I had done before. But the point is, from the years of sacrifice leading up to now, I have the freedom to do what I enjoy and I'm curious about, rather than what is needed to survive. For number 4, stop procrastinating. An unfortunate reality is that most people in their 20s spend too much time thinking about outcomes rather than doing the actual work itself. It's true that you need to look at your ability to work from the outside in order to do better. This is only once in a while though, not every second. Put in some time at the end of each week, say a few hours on a Sunday night, to review what you did well or badly, but also to plan out a specific list of things you need to get done in the week ahead. A golden rule is to talk less and do more. There's 2 types of people out there. One that says they'll do it and the other that does it first and talks about it later. 5th lesson is that you need to get ready to suffer. I'm fully convinced that the only way to truly win is to have endured prolonged suffering beforehand. You need to learn how to keep going no matter what happens. No one else will pick you up when you're down. It is you who must push on when everything is against you. Your 20s will be a time of loneliness, but trust me, it will all make sense one day. I was practically indoors by my computer for 18 hours a day for 6, sometimes 7 days a week. I did this for 5 years straight, but I'd rather do it for 5 instead of 50 years. I check Snapchat and see my classmates living it up. A lot of them had backup plans, parents' money, but there was no other option for me. It was either I die or the dream dies, and I didn't plan on dying anytime soon. But I will say this, working 24/7 is not a good idea. I used to avoid burnout by sleeping in on one day in the weekend. I'd also treat myself on a regular basis with affordable things. I like milkshakes. They taste good, and after a long week, I'll probably treat myself to one. But that's a couple bucks, nothing too expensive. That brings us on to number 6. What you have is what you can do. The more money you have saved up, the more bullets you have to fire at opportunities that can set you up for life. You must avoid keeping an expensive lifestyle. Instead, obsess over accumulating assets, things that make you money whilst you sleep. One example is to buy a house as soon as you can afford it. To be honest, I think buying a house is one of the least rewarding investments, but by far a very safe option. Once you've bought at most a few houses, you can be aggressive with how you invest. If you want to buy high-risk stocks, start a business, or invest in startups, the more money you have, the more risky investments you can make. In the last year, I've invested in about 20 startups, and if all of these went to zero, I can afford the loss. But if they did well, I could benefit a whole lot. The biggest risk you will ever have is losing all of your savings. Too many people in their 20s will risk all of their savings to make a little bit more money. In almost every situation, doing this is not worth it. I know people who've made millions but spend millions, so when their income dried up, they have nothing. Remember this, what you have is what you can do. For the 7th and final lesson, it's necessary to keep a small but close circle of trusted friends. Along the journey, you may find yourself alone a lot. Having a good few friends pursuing their own dreams is very underrated. When you're in the trenches, it helps having someone to talk to who understands and also respects your desire to work hard. These friends are rare to find, but are worth looking for, as you both push each other forward and support one another when needed. For many, it's hard to trust other people, but the harsh reality we learn over time is that we may lose our loved ones, be arguing with a partner one night, and just feel like we need someone to talk to. And having a close friend or two to call at that moment can really matter. It's also nice to see how you and your friends grow over time. I have a few close friends I've been tight with for about 10 years, and I'm super grateful for them. To wrap things up, no great story is easy to write, but hopefully the lessons I learned that allowed me to retire at 21 will be useful in your journey. Just remember, things get difficult, but if you keep going, no matter what, it will all make sense one day.